Okay, so as you guys have already pointed out that abstract is something which is not having existence. It's a abstract is more like an idea or something like that, right? And which is non-existent. So let's look at some programming to understand that. So if I go here, uh, okay, so let me launch my Eclipse. So okay, so far what we have doing is, in order to create an instance of a class, what we would do is we would say class C equal to new class, and then we create an instance, right? So now let's look at the concept of what is an abstract class. So I will go to my package, which is abstract abstract. Where is my, okay, I'll say abst abstract class here. Okay, so once I go here, let me have a simple class. Let's forget all this, let's forget all this. Okay, this is a simple class which is a shape class. Now what does this class do? Okay, there seems to be a shape already, so I will find that, control H, shape. So shape, this is abstract. Oops, there are a lot of shape classes. Okay, I will let it be, I'll call it shape. uh, Today is 28, right? 2803. Okay, let's call it shape 28. Now so far what we have been doing is we have been adding method to it and then saying display of that, isn't it? So what I will do is, let's create a method, public void display. This is a regular method which we used to have, and in this is how we used to do. And I would display, I am display, I am display, right? So inside here I can go ahead and simply create the instance of that particular class equal to new of, right? And then I'll say shape 28 dot display. This is something, it's a normal method call, and let's at least run it once, and it works as expected. All right, now let me add one more method to this. Shape is this, I'm saying draw, so I'll call it public void traw, open bracket close bracket, and put a semicolon here. So this is a method wherein I have put a semicolon, uh, meaning that it does not have a body. Yes, body of a method is what goes inside the bracket. If it is not having a body, what does it mean? It means that it does not have a definition, or it is abstract method, right? Because I have not put any body inside that, or it is a non-existent kind of a method which cannot do anything, right? Is that right? Yes, no? So what?
Rather than giving the comment, we are adding abstract or something like that?
Yes, so here I have to say abstract, or if you will first look at the error message here, it says this method requires a body instead of a semicolon. Oh, all right. So because it requires a semicolon, what does it mean? It means that this method is a abstract method. Abstract meaning that you have not given the definition of that particular method, isn't it? So I have to explicit, if I don't give a body, it will give me a compile time error like this. This method requires a body instead of semicolon. So in order to address this issue, I will have to say abstract. This is how I can resolve the error, but I still get some problem. So it says this method draw in the type shape 28 can be defined by an abstract class. So it means that if you have made a method as an abstract method, then it should be part of class which is an abstract class. Okay. Now we also saw that you just now saw a definition that if a class is abstract, then you cannot create instance of that class, right? So I cannot then create instance of this. So this concept is known as an abstract class or a concept of abstract. Abstract class is a class whose instance you cannot create, right? So in order to create an abstract class, what I did is I added a method, and that method is having only the what, semicolon without any body. So if it does not have a body, that means it is an abstract method for me, and therefore I have to add a keyword abstract and for the method. And if I make if a class has an abstract method, then class also becomes an abstract class, and that is something I have to put in the class also. Now when a class becomes an abstract class, you cannot create instance of that particular class. Yes. So let's say I now,
Question here.
yes,
So we created the we amended the class to abstract because we created the abstract method. But what about the method which is not abstract?
yes,
For which
so
is
that is a normal method, right? We will see, that's what I am explaining.
okay.
Okay, so let's say now I create a shape called class shape class circle 28 ext nds shape 28, open and close. Now yesterday we saw in inheritance what happens if a class extends another class, whatever is in the superclass will become part of the subclass, right? And therefore whatever is here will come here also. So what I have to do, I have to make this class as, why? Because this abstract method has come here, isn't it? So I have to make this as abstract, right? Any questions so far?
Whatever.
No, how to address that I will explain to you, but so far are we clear? This concept, whatever we have just looked at, we are clear, right? Let's say let's say what I do is I create one more class and I call that as a class triangle 28 ext tnds and extends shape of 28. Okay, open close. Now what I can do is, if triangle triangle, okay, now if I have to address this particular class, then there are two ways: either I make it abstract or I give definition of this method by overriding it. So we have already seen what is overriding, same method name in the superclass and in the subclass, and this, for this, add a body here. So we override the method which was abstract. So we have given definition to that method, and here I can say sys out of I am in triangle 28. Is that right? Yes. And because I am in triangle 28, now yesterday we looked at that I can say shape 28 equal to triangle 28, right? I can say this is equals to new of triangle 28, and then I can say shape 28 dot draw, whichever you want. Yes. And if I run it, I'll get the expected output, right? So what is an abstract class? Abstract class is a class which cannot be instantiated, right? It can be made abstract how? If a class has abstract method, it becomes abstract class. Yes, and a class which is extending that should give the definition of abstract method, else that will also become as abstract, right? Please try this program. We'll move on to the next now. So so how did I make a class abstract? By creating a keyword abstract here, isn't it? Now what I can also do is I can simply create a class to and make it abstract by simply adding a method called, sorry, by adding a keyword called abstract. It does not have to necessarily contain the abstract method. So what I mean is, I'll say class abstract class. Okay. Now there can be a class, okay, abstract class 28, let's call it. So as you will see, this is a simple class, right? If I want to make this class as abstract class, I'll say abstract. Simply by adding the keyword abstract also, the class become abstract, and once a class is abstract, you cannot create an instance of that class. So this, I'll summarize it, please listen carefully. A class can be made abstract by simply adding the keyword abstract. It may or may not contain any method at all, which is the case number 1, right? Second case is there can be an abstract class which may have a regular method with a body, right? This is fine, this is fine. Or let's say if I remove this, it can also contain just an abstract method, or it can contain mix of both the methods, with body and without body, right? So the conclusion is that abstract class can have method which is abstract or not, it does not matter. Just by adding keyword abstract will make the class as abstract. Now an abstract class can have more than one method with body or more than one method with abstract method. Yes, and any class which is, so if there is a class circle 28 which extends abstract class 28, then it does not have to override anything, because currently let's say I remove this and this class is extending, so let's say circle is extending shape 28, so I had to made it abstract. Why? Because there was an abstract method here. But if I extend this, I don't have to do anything, right? Because that does not have any abstract method, so there is no need to make it abstract, isn't it? Is it clear to everybody? Yes, no? You are confused? Why you people, when you start getting confused, why you don't immediately interrupt? Why do I have to finish the whole thing? As soon as you get confused, please stop me, interrupt me.
I'm confused at the last point which you said just now. So abstract, only we have to mention the abstract if there is a method abstract available in the class.
Yes, then it becomes mandatory.
Mandatory. Okay.
Otherwise, it is optional.
Okay. Okay.
What is your confusion? Which part? Frame your question properly, please. Which part you did not understand?
And if we have non-abstract method in the abstract class, it's not necessary to give the abstract in another class if we are extending or immediately.
Yes, there is no need, right?
So it's like when we are defining the body to the abstract class, so we don't have to like if we are and then we can extend it, right? We can extend that, but we don't need to like use that abstract code.
Yes, so if a class is extending another class which is an abstract class, okay, let me explain this. And guys, please don't wait for until I have finished the concept and then you tell me you didn't understand, and even I had to ask you. I don't know why you are not interrupting me if you don't understand. And this is for everybody. Please don't wait for me to finish the concept and start asking questions. Wherever you are getting confused, Raise your hand right away. Otherwise, it's I have to repeat it for everybody, for you and for myself. Let's say one time for everybody, okay? So, what is an abstract class first of all? What is an abstract class?
Not having any physical.
For which you cannot create an instance, right? Now, for how do I make a class as an abstract class? By using the abstract, yes, that will make it an abstract class, as simple as that. So, if it is an abstract class, I cannot create instance of that. Are you clear so far? Now, this is a, let's say I don't have any method. This is a pure simple class, right? A class which is not an abstract class is also known as concrete class. Okay, why concrete? Because we can create instance of that. So, let's say I define a method in this, and the method is public void display. So, an abstract class can have a method with a body. Is this point clear to everybody?
This is a concrete class as of now, right?
Yes, it may be a abstract class or may not. It doesn't make a difference. So, in this also abstract. So, an abstract class can have a regular method, a method with a body, right? Now, if I create a method which is an abstract method inside this abstract void draw, okay, without the body, sorry. If a method is abstract, what is an abstract method? A method which does not have a body. If a method is abstract, then the class also becomes
Abstract.
okay. Now, a class which extends an abstract class should be responsible for giving definition of which methods? Yes. Why? Because if not, then it is as inheritance means copy this and paste it here, isn't it? If it copies and pastes this here, then this also has an abstract method, and if it has abstract method and you are not giving definition of that method here, then the class should be made abstract. So, there are two ways to address this. Either you make the class abstract. Why? Because from the superclass this method came here and therefore it became a abstract class, or you give definition of this method, right? Yes, you override it basically. Is it clear now? Yes. Okay, now if you are done with this, then I also gave an example of another class which was class dummy class, right? Now I can make this class also as abstract class simply by adding keyword abstract. So a class can be made simply by as an abstract class simply by adding the keyword abstract. It may contain a method with a body or may contain a method with no body, which is an abstract method. Okay, so this is the concept of abstract in Java. Abstract is something for which you cannot create an instance. An abstract class can have a mix of concrete method or rather method with a body and method without a body, which is an abstract method. Okay, so you have already tried this code, yes? So then next topic which I am going to talk about is interfaces. Next what we are going to look at is interfaces. So what is an interface? So what is an interface? Interface is basically interface. So let's look at an interface. So far I created a class. A class extends other class. So So before I explain the concept of interfaces, suppose two of you want to open an organization or a manufacturing unit to manufacture remote control. So what you will do is you will approach the government and file for a license to do manufacturing. So what the government says, okay, you can go ahead and manufacture the remotes, but there is a condition that at least there should be some minimum functionality in the remote. So minimum functionality of remote can be on, off, and increase volume, decrease volume, let's say. Now that is the guideline the government is giving to you, and if you have to open the manufacturing unit, it is mandatory on your part that you take care of fulfilling those guidelines. Yes, so interface is like a guideline, and any class, generally a class extends a class, right? Any class which implements the interface, like extends for class, a class can implement an interface. I will show it to you in some times. So any class which is using that interface, to put it in a simple word, has to fulfill those guidelines. So what it means is, let's say, you will understand with an example. Let's say I have an interface TV, I'll say my remote, REMOTE. Now I have used here a keyword interface. What is an interface? Interface is like a class only, okay, but the difference is that in a class you can have a method with a body, but in interface you can have method with no body at all, but you can have variables also here, or instances also. So if I say public void increase power, okay, let's say power on, and close the method here. So an interface can only have a method with no body. If I try to add a method here with body, it will give an error saying that abstract method do not specify a body. So what it means is that in an interface, by default the method are abstract. If it is abstract, it means that the method cannot have a body, right? And another I am saying public void volume, right? So both of them are by default method are abstract. So if I add a keyword, or if I don't add a keyword, implicitly it is added by the compiler for you. Yes, any question so far? So if I have a class, I'm calling it TV remote. If that extends this interface, if it is an interface, instead of extending, it says implements. If it implements the interface, for example, which is my remote, okay, then what I have to do, this class should either be made as abstract class or define the methods. So you can click here and say add unimplemented methods. You just, for the time being, delete this, delete this, delete this, delete this. So this class has overridden the methods which are defined in the superclass or interface. So what it means, the conclusion is that interface is like a class in which all the methods are abstract. If any class which is implementing that interface, it should give definition of all the methods. Even if you skip one of them, the class has to be made as abstract class. Why? Because there is one abstract which is coming from superclass to this, or super interface to this particular class. Is this concept clear to everybody? Yes.
In the
Yes. So if it is if it is interface, we say implements. In the case of class, we were doing extends. Okay. Now coming to the point that what is the difference between both of this and why should we use one over the other. The difference is with respect to the fact that suppose you want to create a class which has some default implementation and some methods with no implementation and all at all. So which what you should use? Abstract class, right? Because abstract class can have a some methods with body and abstract methods, right? But interfaces are to be used only when no methods are given any definition. The class which is implementing it should give the definition for that. Is that right? So if no, it is not variable declaration. Don't use the wrong word or terminology. So any class which so basically it is like a contract. This power on and volume is a contract which is being fulfilled by this class, isn't it? It's an agreement or specification or contract which is being fulfilled by the implementing class or the class which is implementing that interface. So here I can say sys out power on, and here you can put maybe sys out volume right, and then how do I call it? Main, and then I'll say my remote REMOT is equals to new of TV remote, right? And then I can say what? Remote dot power on. So this is a concept of overriding again we are using. Okay, so make sure you understand this concept properly because this is used very extensively. Yes, interfaces will be used very extensively.
So in child class we can declare another method also.
Yes, that the normal functionality of inheritance remains same. So you asked a good question. So can I add one more method? Yes. So I'll say public void. So let's say remote has another option of switch channels for example. So yes, you can add a normal method. Yes, this is how. Is that right? So
How many child class we create? First two will always be there, power on and volume. Apart from that, we can add as many we want.
yes, that is it's a normal inheritance concept now. Like you got some attributes from your parents, now you can develop more skills by learning, by doing whatever you want to do. Okay, so please try out this concept. So here if you will see, the method channel can only be accessed with the instance of TV remote, right? You cannot say my remote dot of channels. Why? Because it was never there in the first place in the super class. Yes, no. So it is only part of the subclass here, and therefore I cannot use the reference of superclass to access it.
So I'll have to like make it like TV remote again
Yes,
TV remote.
yes, that is right. Yeah. Now you will observe here that that I have created an interface, right? An interface is being implemented by a class. Now what I can also do is I can create one more interface, interface. I can call it I1 open bracket close bracket. So like we did in the case of abstract class, interface may or may not have a method at all, right? I can create one more interface and I can call it interface I2, right? I2. Now when a interface has to inherit another interface, it says extnds of I1, right? So if I have a class, this class which implements I2, and if I2 has method M2 and I1 has method M1, so this class should implement both the methods. Yes. So let's say I have a class I underscore class, or I'll say class for I. Okay, it implements implements I2, for example, I2.
So if you are extending same interface, we have to mention extend.
Yes, that is right. An interface extends another interface, but a class implements an interface.
Okay.
Now, if this has a method M1, so I'll say public void M1 open bracket close bracket. Oh, sorry, this is an interface, it cannot have a body, right? And then if I create M2 here, for example, then this class should, which is implementing I2, which is containing M2 and M1, this should implement method, which one? Both the methods, right? Because M1 has come into I2 by extends keyword. Yes, and this class is implementing I2, and I2 contains what M1 and M2, both of them, and therefore you have to add the unimplemented here, or make the class as what? If I don't add this, then what should I do? Yes, we have to make the class as an abstract class, right? So this is how this concept works.
What this concept?
This is a interface, right?
Okay.
Yeah, same. Okay, so that was regarding abstract classes and interfaces. So now I will move on to the next topic. So next topic which we are going to discuss is packages. What is a package? So in order to understand a package, let's assume that this is a box A here, and I have a box B here. Now if I put, let's say, a blue color ball here, and I put a green color ball here, okay, now what I do is, or rather what we try to do is that this is in a box A and this is in a box B. So, or let's say A is a person, sorry, A is a box, B is a box, this is also a person, this is also a person. So if the person in box A wants to talk to person in the box B, then he cannot talk, right? Because they are in the different rooms, for example. But if there was a mechanism for me to basically let the person in box A know about the whereabouts of the person in box B, then they can talk, right? Yeah, a medium or something else. So there is a concept of import in Java. What happens? You can import this code in this particular box, and if I import it, I will know that this guy is sitting in the next room called B, and then I can talk to him. So let me explain with an example, it will become clear. So for example, yes, this is a concept of package. So let's say I have a car here and I have a mechanic. Car is in package, so package starts with it's a any valid Java name separated by dots. So it is com.c2t.p2. It is actually a folder structure. So if you go to this directory, you will see that a class called car.java has been added to this particular folder structure. This is the folder structure. So com c2t p2, right? Inside that there is a car. So it's nothing but like a folder structure which has got created. Now if I cancel this and come back, so let's say I create a car and that has a method, and this is in a separate box, and there is a mechanic, so it is in box p2, and there is a mechanic in box p1. So if I want to make use of the car in another box, what I can do is I can basically import that car here, isn't it? So what is the syntax of import? Import is, you say import package name was com c2t p2 dot car, is that right? So this is how we can import a car from one box into another box, or class from one package into another package, and use that particular class. Yes.
In case like if we go to that C2H string exam in your package,
If I go to
that package, string package,
where is
the code three four packages below in your
yes.
so in that case like for string dot java, then string buffer dot example dot java.
So yes, so I will explain that to you. So basically I have logically grouped the related.
Okay, that is fine, but I don't have to use like the complete path, right?
Yeah, once I do the import, I don't have to specify the complete path. Yes, that is right.
And
Okay.
if we are importing from same package, then
No, from same package you don't have to import, right? Because if they are in the same room, there is no need for importing it. So let's say if I create a bike in this room or in this package,
oh, I can just use
then I can simply create the instance of that and use it, right?
yeah,
I don't have to do anything
yeah,
or any import.
You have to do it like import.
It's in the same package P1, right?
Directly use bike.
Mechanic and bike are in the same box.
Right?
So then if I want to create instance of bike, I'll simply say bike be equal to new bike, right?
But you will have to import that, no?
Why will I have to? I'm in the same box here.
It will refer directly to the bike file.
But it knows like whether everything is kept.
Yes, that is what, right? It is under the same folder here. Can you see?
These are the same folder, agree.
Then what is the confusion?
So, but you are thinking two different files are there.
Exactly. So that's why I will have to import that mechanic into the bike.
No, it is only if they are in the different packages. Otherwise, if you will see, if they are in the same box, P2 is nothing but same room or same box. If they are in the same box, then you are free to create instance of the other class in this package.
So JVM will handle it automatically by.
Yes, it is like we all are in the same room. So do I need to import you? No, I can simply talk to you and do whatever, right? If there is a person in the other room, he has to get imported here, but there must be a mechanism for me to communicate with him. Yes.
Directly we can use bike dot something
Yes,
equal to new dot bike.
Yes, that is right. Yes. So do we understand the concept of import? Now what happens, suppose there is a car here, so let me move a bike here. I'll move the bike in another package. There is a bike and there is a car. So let me I will call it repairing. So I'll call it car repairing. CARREPA. Yes, and I create a method repair within the bike repair also. Let's say for example. Okay, now this package contains two classes. System.out.println. What is the error? Okay, so bike has a simple method. Now mechanic, either you can import one of both the files one by one, right, BIKE, or I can simply give a star here. Star will import everything that is in the other package. Yes, no. Okay, so please quickly write a code
In
to,
bike we haven't added the main function, right?
right.
Main method is not there in bike.
Why do you,
Car and
I don't need a main method, right? I am calling car from the mechanic class. I am creating instance of, so far that is what we were doing in interfaces also, in other programs also, right? So this is the starting point. This meaning this method which is having a main is the starting point. So this is creating instance of this car, and then you are calling the method on that. Yes, if it is in the same package, then there is no need to do any kind of import, right?